a moment ago, I had something happen with Biggie, and he doesn't even know it, but it bothered me. Chris Demm saw it in my face. We do a lot of work here before this program. You can tell. You can tell.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, as the old folks say.
That's right. It's not just, you can't just throw this thing together.
Some shows are slapdash.
That's right. Some shows are slapdash. Exactly. I was listening to a competitor yesterday. They were running, they were on. Probably best of. Anyway, nobody was on yesterday. And they were doing their thing, and I thought, this is slapdash. This is slapdash radio. We won't be part of it.
Right? A lot of people think, and I did, before I got into the business, behind the microphone, as they say, that you just kind of winged it.
That's right. You can't do that. There's a grid here.
There are a precious few who can.
That's
precious.
The absolute greats.
They're the gifted ones.
Of course. We have to make a grid. I have 67 pages, of which we'll get to 4.
Yep.
Some of it because of time constraints, some because it's just utter nonsense.
That's right. That's right.
I keep seeing John Stamos' name pop up in my timeline.
I've got some John Stamos in here today.
Yeah, he's just out and about, just talking now.
I've got some John Stamos here.
Do we need more Stamos?
Stamos is out. He's talking about behind the scenes over at Full House. The things.
Good.
Yeah, we got that. Will we get to it? We don't know. We don't know.
The point is,
there's a grid here, and there's a lot of stuff here that goes into this, and Biggie does such a great job with his part of it is gathering audio, for instance, pieces that go along.
Everything has to be separated and labeled.
Exactly. It all has to be put together before this goes on the air. We're not going to hit the air just not knowing what we're doing, right? We're not going to do slapdash. We're not. So 30 minutes ago, I call into Biggie. This is what bothered me. And what we really should be doing right now is welcoming our friend back. He's been off.
Sure.
He's had a harrowing time in wine country for the last 5 days.
Must have been miserable.
What we should be doing is, but instead, because of something Biggie said that bothered me, we have to start this way because we're going to clear the air here. I called into him 30 minutes ago. I said, there's quite a bit more audio coming your way, including a 7-part series, 7 pieces of audio on a road rage incident, a police incident at a Buc-ee's in, I believe it's Atlanta, Texas, a Buc-ee's in Texas. But what I said to Biggie was, quite a bit more audio coming your way, including 7 pieces on this one story. And Biggie responds with,
great.
Yeah, we all heard it.
Right there. As soon as he did it,
I could tell a bite. And you know what was funny? I was going for humor.
Going for humor.
I was going because I was like,
it's like, yep.
It's the old where your boss tells you to do something. And you're like, oh yeah. So you're like, great,
right?
Because I started laughing and then I heard you mumble something and hang up, and I was like, well, he's in a mood.
I didn't. Oh no, that I was in a fine mood. That put me in the mood, and I just looked at Chris and said, look what we're starting with. This is a brand new week, and look how we're getting off. I'll tell you what happens is when you can't see the other person, you don't.
Yeah.
You miss a lot of context.
It's like the emails, when emails come in or, social media for sure, and you start getting these things and you don't know the tone and everything. And I just looked at Kristen and said, look at that attitude here. First thing in a brand new week.
Get me BB Shea.
Get me.
He'll do my bidding without question.
BB Shea wasn't here Thursday or Friday.
He's just happy to be here and be paid poorly.
That's right. That's exactly right. But anyway, I just wanted to clear the air.
Yeah, see, I thought I was being funny. Because behind the scenes, you do that most mornings. You say, hey, I can send you a little more.
Yeah.
But this morning you said, I'm sending you a lot more. So that's why I was like, great. And I was in here chuckling, and then I didn't hear anyone else chuckling, and I'm like,
no, we missed it.
There was no chuckling.
No, then I just heard you mumble and then hang up, and I was like, well, okay.
Didn't land. Didn't land. But then you made up for it. You made up for it because I had made an error. I had told, there's a lot of today on the grid. We have some stories about high school graduation. This is the time of year where kids are graduating and all. And there's, stories about senior pranks and that kind of stuff. And I had labeled something incorrectly, and Biggie caught it. I said, okay, all right, he's back in my good graces.
Good save.
Plus, let me tell you something Biggie did. He recommended to me this movie, Air, the Michael Jordan story. Woo! Watched it over the weekend and loved it. Loved it. Mostly because it put me right back in 1984. And you know I love to go there.
Oh, yeah.
You know how I love to go to 1984.
Yes, when you were not just childish, but childlike.
Oh, it was so great. I mean, it was so great. And I loved it. I sank right into it and just
I knew you would.
let it wash over me. I loved it. I cried at the end. I did. I was lit. I'm the only person who saw the Michael Jordan.
Air?
I did. I cried. I don't know why.
We should do that crying Jordan face for you.
I don't know why. I don't know why it hit me the way it did, but when it ended, all it is about his multi
The shoe deal.
million
The first shoe deal.
Oh, yeah.
$1 It's about him signing with Nike, which I guess he wasn't going to do, and then he wound up doing it. And by the end, I was weeping, and my wife said, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah. Take me back.
Tears were rolling down my face. I don't know why.
Yeah. I guess he had planned the whole time to sign with Adidas. He loved Adidas. That's one thing you find in the movie. They were like, look, North Carolina is a Converse team. As soon as they're done
In the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as they're done with the games, he takes his Converse off and wears nothing but Adidas.
That's
So they
right.
were like, it's a done deal. Nike,
Yeah.
forget it. Who are you?
Yeah, and they were not that big. You had told me all this, but man, when I landed in the middle of that, and I just watched it. I was sitting there on the couch, and I was like, let me just watch it. You know, it's one of those. I wasn't planning anything. It was raining. Kristen was in California wine country. He has no idea. We've just been deluged by rain.
So I heard that it was like from like Biggie said, Savannah to the North Carolina beach is just washed out.
Yeah, bad. I hate it for people who went to the beaches, you know, and the lakes and all that. We were supposed to have lake day.
That's right.
Didn't happen.
Didn't know. We went to had to change it up. Went to somebody else's house. It was a graduation. We have a family member graduating from college, so we were having like a little graduation party and a lake day, and it all got moved indoors. It had to. I mean, it was especially that was Sunday. That was just like a rain out here. That was very unfortunate. But anyway, I was sitting there and I thought, you know, I'm gonna watch Air, and
I'm gonna prove Biggie wrong.
I was gonna prove him wrong, but no, I couldn't. And within 5 seconds, I thought, I'm gonna love this.
Well, it opens with a montage of 1984.
With Money for Nothing playing in the back.
Yeah, it couldn't get more you if it had tried.
My wife fell asleep. I looked over at her and was like, "What are you doing sleeping?" I mean, she was like, "I'm not watching this," and she turned over. And I watched the whole movie without her, and then she woke up just in time to see me weeping at the end of it. Oh, it was so beautiful. It just took me back. I loved it.
We watched it over the weekend,
and
I liked it. It's a good story. I thought Damon was good.
The story
I
is
thought Affleck
great.
was good.
I
thought the writing was clunky. And I thought the songs were just overkill.
Oh, I love the songs.
Every freaking 80s hit.
I love that.
Right back.
You couldn't go 2 minutes without an 80s hit.
That's what I loved about it.
What a great year for music.
Oh, 1984. Oh, I just was loved it. Just loved it because of the music. I did think the acting was good from Damon and Affleck.
Yeah, they're good.
You know, I like
Jason Bateman's underrated good.
Yeah.
Viola Davis is Viola Davis.
There's a guy we've interviewed on this program in the movie Air named Jay Moore. You know Jay Moore from the on Jerry Seinfeld. Excuse me, Jerry Maguire.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't recognize him when I saw the movie was over that he was in. I was like, "What did he play?"
Yeah.
I had to go back and look at. You know who he played?
No.
He played the shoe designer, who's like the nerdy, like in the.
No
That's
way.
Jay Moore. I had to look it up.
That Jay Moore?
That's Jay Moore. Yeah,
We're sure it's not a different guy?
Yes, I could not believe. I really made sure of that.
The
He's
nut down in the lab?
a nut in the lab
Who lived to make the perfect shoe?
to make the perfect shoe.
You are kidding.
No, I was stunned. I hadn't seen Jay Moore since the Jerry Maguire days.
I'm gonna need a minute.
He's changed a lot. Because I was looking at the cast, and it was Damon, Affleck.
Unrecognizable.
Yes, yes, he is.
Now, maybe he just went for prosthetics to look like the guy.
I don't know. He has lost his hair, and he's gained a little weight.
Lord have mercy.
When I saw him in photos, but he looked completely unrecognizable.
No idea.
His eyes like, who is Jay Moore in this movie? Anyhow, I recommend Air. And I saw the end of Succession on Biggie's recommendation. It's phenomenal. Biggie, all Biggie does is steer me the right direction.
Yeah. And what do you do?
I rebuff him. I jump on him at
I will say one of the few shows I thought that had a good finale.
Great finale.
Yeah.
Great
I mean, so, of course, you have people who didn't love it, but I just think.
Oh, really? I did. I thought it was great.
I loved it. But of course, you have people who don't.
I saw two great finales this weekend. I watched Ms. Maisel. And great finale. Wonderful finale. They did that. The last season of those two shows were the best season of those two shows. Both The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Succession. But
the housewife turned comedian.
Yeah, she's great. She's great. And I was like, girl power. I loved it.
Everybody says that about you.
I know. I was cheering. I was championing these women. It was really, really done well. And they did something that I love it when shows do. This is a period piece from the early 60s is when it takes place. But they show you what happened to the characters. Like they move forward in time, which I love it when they do that. All that pales in comparison to Chris Demm's wine weekend. And did you have a nice time?
It was spectacular.
Yes.
West Coast Bob and his wife, unbelievable hosts. They have a beautiful home.
But they're moving out of it. They're moving back.
They are. Their families are all on the East Coast, so they're moving back to the East Coast. They've been in California 5 years, which I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Wow, that long.
Yeah. But where they live, they're kind of up on this hillside in Marin County, and you can see it's not San Francisco Bay, it's another bay. And every morning there's fog. Every morning it's gray.
Right.
And every afternoon the sun comes out, and it is spectacular.
Well, great. And
we only joined one wine club.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The over-under was 3.
I know.
Yeah.
Surprising. So you joined one.
Yeah.
Did you taste wine you liked?
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it. You enjoyed that.
Top of the line stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Now that's a vacation right there.
We had some really, really terrific food, good beer, good times.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my thing, but you
would have hated it every second.
Every second of that. You know, my wife always wants to go to California wine country. I said, go without me. I'll sit in the corner and drink grape juice.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
There's quite a little, obviously there's an entire industry of people who take large parties.
Yes.
Because you don't want to drink and drive.
Yeah.
Take you from place to place.
That's nice.
There's giant limos and the bigger, fancier wine tasting rooms have giant limousines in front of them all day
Really?
long.
Wow.
Sure.
I just saw a thing today. California, of course, so known for wine, but they were doing it. You know how sometimes, and some people say this is fake, where they'll put a map up online and say this is every state's favorite candy or whatever.
Yeah.
There was one today, the most beloved consumer brands in every state. We're in North Carolina. It was Cheerwine. And I guess I buy that. There's a Cheerwine festival that's a big deal.
Yeah, this year it reached unbelievable, massive amounts of numbers.
But I don't think Cheerwine is the number one sold drink here. It says
Not the number one selling, no.
But I think
most
people
beloved because we
claim it.
The one, 2 caught my eye. One, because it was us, it was Cheerwine, which is, not very well known in other parts of the country, but a good drink. I mean, it's like a cherry cola.
Oh, yeah.
It's very good. We recently talked about Taco John's. Wyoming Taco John's was the one. That was out in Nebraska, where we are on in Nebraska. People say, oh, yeah, Taco John's they like better than Taco Bell. And then, listen to this. Every single state is represented. California was like...
was it In-N-Out?
No, it wasn't always food. It was
just consumer brands.
It was a computer company or something. And then one of it, like Arizona, was Zappos.
The shoe company?
Shoes. Maybe it started there or something, And I just looked at a few of them. Delaware had no brand that it loved. There was no...
Not impressed by anybody? Or they don't love anybody?
Delaware could not...
Their daddy didn't love them?
That's right. Delaware couldn't... There was no brand that Delaware liked best. It was the only one that was blank. It was a giant nothing there. And I just looked at it and thought, now, how can you not have one thing that you can say the brand you most love? Or maybe Delaware just wanted to be different or something.
Yeah.
Here's something new that Chris Demm has pointed out to me as well, and I think I do this too much. Today we were watching the news. They were doing a story on the 20th anniversary of Finding Nemo. That's this week, I guess, is the 20th anniversary of Finding Nemo being in theaters. And Chris Demm, there's about 10 minutes left in the news, and they're doing this, and Chris Demm said, well, they're going down the fluff hole awfully early, meaning fluffy stories,
Yeah, there's nothing left. If they're doing, with 15 minutes left in the show, if you're doing Finding Nemo turns 20.
That's what they did.
You're out.
Finding Nemo turns 20. And then they did another fluff hole story after that.
Yeah.
And Chris Demm said, man, they're way down the fluff hole now. And I thought, you know what? I go down the fluff hole too much. No, I do. I do. I go down the fluff hole. And
that hurts twice because you were fluff hole man for a while for the news. Your actual job was fluff hole man.
That's true. They went to you when they had nothing left.
When I did local TV news, they should have called me Fluff Hole.
All right, we got 3 minutes to kill. Where's Fluff?
That's what they do. And it was at the very end of the news. Half the time it got cut. They had major breaking stories. All right, cut Fluff Hole. We're not doing it today. But this was early fluff hole, and Chris Demm
Way
pointed
too
out,
early in the show.
I do too much fluff hole. I had a fluff hole. There's a thing here where they're letting, in Charlotte, North Carolina, they're letting the public name a street sweeper. And I thought, that's fluff hole. That's total fluff hole.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the internet does its thing.
That's right. There are 3 finalists, and 2 of them I really like. One of them is Sweepy McSweepface, which I can't. That is the whole. Every time they do that now.
Yeah, ever since they named some tugboat or something
Bodie McBoat.
5 years ago, Bodie McBoatface.
That's right. Yeah. Plus, I know a guy who's always using that term, and I just want to smack him.
Oh,
Well, and I'm sure they had to weed out the sexual names.
You know they did.
Yeah.
They did. But
Sir sucks a lot. No. 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 No.
Mom sweeper. No.
Yeah.
no,
No.
you can't do that.
You have a friend who uses Bodie McBoatface.
Yes.
A lot?
He uses Bodie. Well,
More than most?
Yes. I mean, whatever you're doing, if you're wearing, an oversized shirt, he'll say, Shirty McShirtface. I mean, that's what he calls
Okay.
it. He uses that all the time, and you just want to say, stop doing that.
Yeah, it's worth a titter online when you read it, but that's it.
Yes, and I mean, to me, it's had its moment with Bodie McBoatface, but Charlotte is letting the public name a street sweeper. And they have chosen Sweepy McSweepface as one of the finals. Now, the other 2 I like.
Your mom.
No. Listen, I like this one. Cleopatra.
That's pretty good.
Cleopatra,
Okay.
because it's a street sweeper.
I wonder how many people know what that's a play on.
Maybe not. Maybe Cleopatra's not as big a thing as it once was.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear it, but not like I used to, right? And Sweep Caroline, because it's in North Carolina.
Oh, I like that.
That's the one I bet
That's pretty good.
Sweep Caroline. I guess the last thing you really heard before you went off on vacation was Biggie's Roomba came back to life and then died again. Were you here for that? You were here for that. Because we discovered that Biggie's Roomba, the vacuum cleaning device, died 8 months ago. And so Biggie had to take a woman to come into his home. That's the exact same time he started dating lady friend of the
Do you like
moment.
long walks? Do you own a Swiffer?
That's right. That's right.
You know those wet jets? They're great.
Yeah,
How do you feel about dust?
She's the one. She came into his life right at that time. And then I did one more thing, and this is about fluff as well, going down the fluff hole. Great new term. They've gone down the fluff hole way too early. I was watching Jeopardy last night, and recently we talked just for a minute about a Jeopardy champion. He's no longer champ on there. And his looks were compared to Adolf Hitler. They said he looked like Hitler. He didn't have the mustache, but he had like his hair
swooping
would
haircut.
swoop over.
Yeah.
And Dave said he didn't think it was right. And we just kind of went past it. But as I watched Jeopardy, for some reason I thought of him, and I thought, that's probably the one person in history you really can't say to somebody, who you bear a striking.
No.
You know, you remind me of.
Yeah.
Isn't that the one person you cannot say? I tell you who you look a lot like.
You probably hear this a lot.
Is Adolf Hitler? No,
Especially when you do that with your hair.
you absolutely can. You can say that about almost anybody else.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Who else? Putin, Hussein,
OJ?
OJ. Maybe. I mean, you used to say it about OJ years ago, but there's not many. And Hitler's got to be the top of the list.
Yeah.
You know? And if somebody says, like, if I were that guy that was on Jeopardy, I would completely change my look now. Don't you think? I would maybe.
Did he have a full mustache?
I think he did. Yeah.
He had a mustache,
Yeah.
but it wasn't. Obviously, no one would ever grow the tiny mustache
Golly,
unless you're storming a Capitol.
let me tell you this. I had what an incident the other day. My razor wasn't good. I knew it wasn't. It had been lately. I wasn't getting a clean, close shave. You ever get a bad one? I mean, it was.
Oh, yeah.
And because it was new,
Yeah.
right out of and like the first couple of times, like this is not
You
working.
know my theory?
You think they
The
put,
razor companies intentionally put one clunker
Yes.
in every pack.
Yeah, I thought you had said that. Yeah, and so I got
Somebody told me that once.
I remember. I
was
know
me.
somebody said. I thought it was my wife. I confuse Chris Demm and my wife a lot. But yeah, you have said that, and I think you're right because I had a pack of 5, and I was on number 3 or 4.
Because there have been times, I don't have a thick beard like you and Biggie, but I mean, you could go almost a month.
Yeah.
With one leg.
Yeah.
But if you start nicking yourself with the first or second one, I toss it.
Yeah. And it was only my second time shave. First and second, I was like, this is not working.
If it's just dragging, you got to toss it.
It was dragging. It was, and I would notice there were little patches, later that it's terrible. Well, right before I left the house for an appearance on Saturday, I had showered and shaved, and I had left a Hitler mustache. And thank goodness I caught it. I mean, this just that just won't do. I mean, if you've got a Hitler mustache going,
do you have an electric razor in the car?
No.
Shaving the mirror on the way down.
I burned it off with a cigarette lighter because you cannot
to bring back your COVID mask.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just take a little precaution.
Awful.
Depending on where you were going, you might have been pointed to different rallies as you rolled down your window. Where should I? No, you're going left. Left.
Terrible. I tossed that razor as soon as I got home. I said, I can't go forward with this because you missed the wrong patch, and all of a sudden you're compared to Hitler.
Biggie is excessively hairy since I last saw him.
Oh yeah, you haven't
I meant to shave this weekend. I managed not to even put on a shirt yesterday. It was a goal of mine.
Where's the lady friend?
Oh, she was there. Yeah. She was absolutely
Jesus.
She was absolutely disgusted by it.
Okay.
She threatened to leave twice. Are you really not going to put on a shirt today? I'm going to do my best not to.